Welcome, friends. My name is Randy. I'm your host for the Easier Ways podcast. This is episode 3, Through Being Cool. I'm not a cool guy anymore, as if I ever was before. Hey, so if you've listened to the 2 previous episodes to this, you kind of know what this is about. Just to recap, last time we talked, or I talked and you listened and such, was quoting a cat named Thurman about being true to yourself. His quote is, ask not what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. Then do it, because the world needs more people who have come alive. That's really the end result of this Easier Ways process. Easier Ways, as you can see on the logo here, recovering the joy of living. Okay. Lots of things can bring you joy, but at the core, it's being authentic. It's being true to yourself. It's not getting so tweaked when people are disagreeing with you, because of course people will disagree. Everybody sees the world their own unique way. You know who you are. You know what you bring forth. You know your gifts and talents. You know your liabilities. Okay. And you've found your voice. Okay. Now, I would have called this being cool when I was younger. Okay. Coolest people had a je ne sais quoi. There was a confidence that really wasn't an arrogance. But also, as they went through life, they saw, again, not only did they see no need for arrogance, there was also no need for apology. Okay. These are people, they're confident, but they don't have to be going through life in a way that is, I don't know, obnoxious, aggressive, being a jerk. Just, they know who they are, and they know what makes them come alive. So, as I was talking yesterday, I mentioned, hey, I've never been a cool guy, which I still stand by that kind of stuff. But a friend of mine, Kara, she commented underneath it, and she's like, I think you're cool, which, thank you, Kara. I appreciate that. And thank you for inspiring this episode. So what we're going to get into in the next few minutes is, well, something that Mr. Jeff Brown wrote. If you're not familiar with Jeff Brown, he's an author. He's put together a lot of courses. It's on personal development. I've taken one of his courses on the abandonment wound. He's a healer. He's got a very pragmatic, down-to-earth way of presenting things like the wound and the healing. So we're friends on Facebook. I get his posts daily. He is pretty prolific. And something he did recently was on the topic of being cool. So in this divine kismet of everything lining up, in my podcast, episode 2, Kara's comment, and on Jeff Brown's post, I all of a sudden said, okay, this is what episode 3 is. So with no further introduction, this is what Jeff Brown wrote. You don't get cool hanging around cool people. You don't get cool sitting before cool teachers. You don't get cool when you sleep with cool people. You get cool when you go deeper into your individuation. You get cool when you actualize your particular uniqueness. You get cool when you don't give a shit about being cool. Because what is cool is not an external thing. It's surrendering to your uniqueness, embodying your remarkable self, and developing your voice. You're not bothered by what others think about you because you're so authentically you that external judgments don't matter at all. Do you want to be cool? Be full on who you are. Now that's cool. So that's what Jeff Brown has to say about it. And obviously, since I'm quoting him, I'm in agreement. I dig it. As you can see this picture here now, if you're watching YouTube or Facebook or whatever this post is, if you're not, this picture here is of a man that is known wide and far. Bo Diddley. If you're not familiar with Bo Diddley's music, just know that in the 50s, he was as influential to rock and roll as Chuck Berry. If you are able to see this picture, you can see the guitar he played. Very unusual looking guitar, this rectangle body of guitar he made. His style, very primal, very rhythmic. It's influenced countless people. Again, his voice, his musical voice, the Bo Diddley beat. Once you hear Bo Diddley's music, you know who Bo Diddley is. Again, you know this is Bo Diddley's music. Okay. Now here, again, you see the picture. It's Randy. Okay. Randy at his 40th anniversary, 40th high school reunion. Okay. Now, I'm certainly nowhere near influential like Bo Diddley and such. I don't think I'm really a cool guy and stuff. But as you can see, I was having a lot of fun that night. Okay. And part of the reason why I went to my high school reunion, which, by the way, is the only one I went to. I didn't want to go see any of these people. I was a misfit. I didn't fit in school and such. I went actually with encouragement by the woman you see next to me. Her name's Cheryl Gale. She has found her voice. She is the chairperson of a charity called Brave Voices. Helps people that have suffered from sexual abuse. It helps people find their voice. She has her voice going on. She knows who she is. As you can see, I wasn't afraid being goofy around her. I was at this event to do, frankly, working on my inner wound, doing some inner child work. There was a couple guys that had bullied me growing up that I knew that were going to be at the reunion, and I needed to see them in real life and speak to my younger version and just go, see, it's no big deal. Everything worked out okay. Nothing to be afraid of. You're safe. I know who I am. Okay. And again, I don't think I was ever a cool guy and such, but I could be me. I can be comfortable. Okay. Now, this gentleman here, Dave Alvin, another great example. If you're familiar with the band The Blasters, he founded that with his brother Phil. Went on, as far as played with the Knitters, played with a band called X. But probably for about 40 years has been a solo artist. If you listen to Dave Alvin's music, you know it's Dave. Okay. And Dave has been very influential with me finding my voice. He's very much helped me see that much of what goes on in this world that is confrontational is due to a lot of people having ignorance, intolerance, and hate. So when you hear me speak of that and how what I want to do is create an antidote for that, that comes from the inspiration from Dave Alvin's music. And again, if you ever heard a Dave Alvin song, you will be able to recognize Dave Alvin's voice in 100 other songs. Now, this guy here, you can't see it. You're going to see it. You're not seeing Frank Zappa. You may or may not know Frank Zappa's music and such. You can see here. He's a man here. He's got his long hair and pigtail. And Frank Zappa, if you are familiar with his music, you know it's very eclectic. Zappa's music is, yeah, it's an acquired taste. But also, if you've ever heard Zappa's music, you know it's Zappa. And he went on in his careers. His music was being performed by the London Philharmonic. Okay, and very outspoken gentleman. His dry wit, his sarcasm. I consider it comparison to George Carlin. Okay? So much again, George Carlin. There's another cat. Okay, he spoke from the heart. Okay, he spoke from his head. George Carlin knew who he was, and he brought it. So what I'm getting at here is really, truly, sobriety is not abstinence. It's finding out who you are, who you're not, and then living it. Again, that quote: "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive." And then do that, because the world needs more people that have come alive. We need more cool people in this world. Okay? Don't need any more ignorance, intolerance, and hate. We need people that have gotten in touch with their heart. Again, they have come from the depths of their soul and brought something into the world for them and for others to enjoy. They made the world a little bit better place. And again, you can just be a goofball like I am. Okay. Yeah, I know not everybody's gonna like me. I'm acquired taste for some people. That's cool. Okay. Because I'm okay. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't need to get high to be in social situations like you used to. Okay. That's a key thing here in sobriety. You wonder how you would be able to go into social situations and not have a drink. You find your voice. You know who you are. You know why you're there, what you're bringing, what you're not. And if it's not aligned with your authentic self, there's no reason to play with it. Very, very easy now for me to say, nah, it's cool. That's fine. That's your opinion. I don't need to argue with you about stuff. It's again, when talk about easier ways. It's much easier when I don't have to be right, and I don't have to prove myself in places. And I want that for you as well. That being said, next episode, we're going to get into the guy who did introduce me to this topic. We're finding your voice, Dr. Stephen Covey. Familiar with Dr. Stephen Covey? He's very famous for his work with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And then he wrote a follow-up called The 8th Habit, and it's finding your voice. So that's what we're going to do next time. Okay, so if you're catching what I'm throwing out there and stuff, you'll really dig next one, because he gets into it from the behavioral science aspect, how it applies to the effectiveness in the workplace. So it's not just necessarily being able to be comfortable in your own skin in social situations that you used to feel awkward, and it's how do I apply my voice into my work. And that's one of the key things about what easier ways is. It's not just about staying sober, and it's not just about recovering the joy of living. It is about living a prosperous life. You know? Take these principles and apply them into your life so that you can make some money. Yeah. Sobriety is not just about what you're not doing. Sobriety is very much about what you get to do. What you do, you enjoy life because you're being true to yourself. You're true to yourself, and you never